welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. And welcome to week 17 in the Don't Wake the Dragon build series. I decided that I need to have something else going on while this is drying over in this area. I don't want to move this and shift this from being inside the garage. I'm going to head over to the base and begin to tackle the flooring. There are some areas that need to get sanded down before I apply stain. Doing this interior spot on the dragon nose where I was testing it out, I really like the way the mica looks under a dark background. I don't feel like it's prominent enough. You don't really see the iridescence of the mica powder against the natural wood. I'm going to sand down the interior floor of the base, and then I'm going to hit it with the stain, the ebony stain that I've been using, the one I used for that back treatment. This way, it will have a good amount of time to dry so that when I get back from my little break that I'm taking, it'll have been fully cured and ready to go with adding the resin. Actually, I might even be able to get to it on Monday. I'm expecting rain in the next day or so. If it does not rain on Monday, I may be able to get to the resining. I don't want to push my luck though. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to do too much dismantling of this because the rain is coming, and then the more I have to take down and reset, the more work it is going to be for later. So I only pulled down the one side and got the body of the dragon laying here on this tarp. I do have a bit of area where I have some resin that stains here, and then what I'm really aiming to sand out is in between the seam lines where I painted the underside of this, there's a bit of that green paint, and I don't think that that's going to take to the stain or the resin when the resin goes on, and I don't want there to be problems in the flooring. So I'm really just concentrating on that and a light sand on any areas that might be raised too high or low. I'm not concerned about what the overall look is. It will be a much larger amount of the mica that I will have to use. I'm going to do the same treatment that I'm planning to do for the body, where I put down the black color first, let that dry, put over the resin with the mica, then apply the circles. Seems like a waste. Their circles are going to take up such a large area, and the only parts that are going to have the mica come through are in between the cracks. But I think that it's going to be much easier to do that. That way I can pour over the entire floor with clear coat when I apply the circles and not have to worry about resanding the circles. So I'm mixing up some of the peanut butter, so I gotta get some filler in here. I gotta fill in these screw holes, and I think it'd be best if I fill in this crack. That way I can make sure it's fully watertight. Alright, I went inside and made a pot of pumpkin chili, veggie pumpkin chili, and had some lunch, and the base is still tacky from where I put in filler. I'm going to go ahead and get the tape around the second half of this head so that can get going, and then I'm going to see where I am. If it's still tacky, I'm not going to be able to stain it. I'm going to have to reset up that area for the rain. It sucks, but it is what it is. So, still tacky, and what I did was I went and reset, got the tarp up. It's saying it may or may not rain tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to call it for out here for the night. I'm going to run to Joann's and see about getting some new scissors, and I think little boy is going to be mad because I got to bring him in. Alright, y'all. It is Sunday morning, Sunday, December 11th, and it rained like crazy yesterday and this morning. I had to run out here early to cover up one side that was left open. I thought it was protected by the house, but it just wasn't. Sometimes you'll see my breakfast out. I like to come out here and have some quiet time out in the studio for about 10-15 minutes in the morning while I'm eating my breakfast, to sort of map out my day about what I want to do, think about the logistics. What is going on with my hair today? Usually I have a plan or an idea of things I'd like to get accomplished, but I don't have the steps broken down of how that's going to get done. So I will spend 15-20 minutes out here eating my breakfast in the space and having quiet time just trying to mentally make the list of each of the steps and how they're going to progress. Because of this rain, obviously cannot get to the base. The base has actually had some water damage. Though the filler is dry, it needs to be fully dried out before I apply that stain. It's probably not going to happen until next week when I get back. That leaves me with only this head to work on while I'm in here. I have to go in and secure the inside of this. Everything has to get snipped, and then inside of this has to get the glassing put on to firm it up. Then I think I will set this aside and work on the horns, because the horns are separate appendages that kind of hang out, and I have those pieces that I can work on, but that's going to require me to do a bit of tidying, move some stuff around. I didn't want to continue assembling too many rings because I have a floor full of rings and looking like I'm only going to be attaching one at a time. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I may drill all the holes so the holes are ready to go, but I probably will hold off on assembling them. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat my breakfast while I mentally think about that list of how crap's gonna go. I decided the thing to do is to secure it up here, and then since it already has the outside stabilization to it, I can then just move it to the floor and move on to the horn. That was my processing of what I came up with while I was eating. Those are the kinds of things that I mean by having to like work things out about way things are gonna go logistically. I also have to think about, I thought about, I could clear off some of these pieces and leave it on the end of the table. But then what ends up happening sometimes is the projects impede the view on the camera. These are like the random things that you have to think about. I can't put it outside right now because it's still damp and raining. Yeah, I think, it's just a simple thing, but these are the things you gotta plan for. So I picked up fresh batches of scissors, and it turns out that the itchy tingling thing that was happening when dealing with the fiberglass is actually a contact dermatitis. So I don't need to worry too much about breathing it in at this stage when it's in the fiber. I definitely need to be masked up when I'm sanding it, but all of the itching while I was handling it had everything to do with the physical contact. They're large fibers. It's not breathing in at that stage, but it is when you're sanding and creating a dust. Look at these tiny little scissors. I don't know why I'm using them. I just wanted to see what it would be like. I started watching House of Dragons. I was never into Game of Thrones, but Dragon show is a must. The reason why I was never into Game of Thrones is because not only was it gory, but they also murdered a lot of animals. And I have to say, this show has kind of got that going on too, and I don't know, it's just, I don't understand why you have to be so visually graphic in order to tell a story. I don't know, not my thing. However, it's a dragon show. If it wasn't so gory, I think I'd really love the show. Oh, and it's raining again. Why am I still using these? There's gonna be a little boy coming soon, I'm sure. He's out running around in the rain, and he will probably be dashing in here. I think I want to do this in stages. I'm just gonna do this small amount, and then I got just enough around the bottom edge. Get that in, and there goes Victoria running in, and then I will cut some more pieces and do the other sides. I gotta go get the resin because I brought it in because it was getting too stiff out here in the cold. Aside from storing this inside, I also did a bit of tidying and changed out the pump so that I have just a fresh pump just in case it was an issue inside the pump. I also ordered another 2 rounds of epoxy, so I'm at $900 of epoxy at the moment. Crazy. Yeah, I've lost track of all the other money I have spent at this point, other than the epoxy. The one thing that I am like, damn, that's a lot of glue. I found that I prefer the method of applying the epoxy to the tape. It started pouring. My son was out running around playing. I couldn't find him. I was freaking out. Finally, he came around the corner. I finished getting all the fiberglass in the nose. I'm gonna start dealing with mapping out the horns and see where that gets me. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do too much with these because the tips are really, really narrow. I'm dealing with these bits right here. This front tip is a very narrow point. I think I'm gonna only be able to get maybe the flat and 2 of the pieces so that I can still get to the inside. I'll need to get access to the inside to put the fiberglass in. Why are you in the rain? Come on. Mama. Oh, these cats. I'm gonna call it here for today. It is too damp for anything to really set fully, and I cannot move on either of those two pieces until this does set. So hopefully I'll be able to get out here tomorrow and get something going on. It is Monday. The rainstorm was pretty bad yesterday. There was some hail. The canopy got really pounded pretty hard. Did some inspecting. I think there's a couple spots at the top of the canopy that are dripping some water where the venting is. I had to run out there and cover up that other side the other day because it was just too much coming in from the side of it, and the side was getting hit. It's still too wet to do anything with. That leaves me with a little bit of work here, adding in a couple pieces to the horns, and then I'm gonna go ahead and probably add the next layer of the head part. I forgot that I had to get the black in there because once I add another layer, it's going to be too far in there for me to get hands in. I don't want to be reaching over things. I went ahead and just put black all on the inside, and now I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up my tools because of course I was using the scissors with hands full of resin. So I've just been using, rubbing alcohol has been my best friend throughout this entire process, but I have to catch it right away. If I wait too long and it seizes, then there's no going back, and it's pretty much stuck on. It still works well on hands, but you gotta wipe down the scissors immediately or I'm gonna lose them, which is what happened to the other two pairs. Anyhow, I'm gonna call it here for today, and actually I'm gonna call it here for this vlog. I'm gonna be heading out for my sort of vacay, sort of business trip, but please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch this project all unfold, and remember, don't wake the dragon.